original facsimile. Good evening, this is the Town of Raleigh Finance Committee meeting of January 9th, 2018, and it is 7:17. Call the meeting to order. We're going to bypass the item 2, approve the minutes. I had the wrong date there, so we'll reschedule that for next meeting. Item 3, review past year ending budget balances. And I think we all had a copy of that. And I don't think we need to review it, just that, unless anyone has comments on it.
No, we didn't, did we get that? The past year ending balance sheet, we requested
Yeah, I
it, but we
think
never
so.
got it.
July 2016 to,
No, this is
June.
July, this is July
two-
7th.
Yeah, 17 to
to
December
December
2017.
This
no,
is
that's
this
the
year.
next,
This is this year's budget.
but this is last year's. I think we had this from last,
I know,
month or so.
we didn't get it. We didn't, because I remember we asked Debbie, and I guess Sue hadn't finished it up at that point.
okay, so I'll get that distributed.
Is that, so that copy that you have, is that something you just received, or?
No, I've had that for a couple of months. And basically, it was just to look at how last year's budget ended and how, if there are any questions or comments. I have a couple of comments, like there are some items that just didn't seem to change from last year's ending to this year's budget, and should we really continue on with it? But
Yeah, I mean,
we'll discuss
that's
it.
an important piece of paper. I mean, we've been looking for that. And I thought at the last meeting we didn't have that because Sue didn't have the final numbers. Is that if that's the sheet that you had from the
Yeah,
last
this-
meeting, then it's probably, I don't think it's updated. Correct me if I'm wrong. Does anybody remember that?
Well, if you don't have it, you don't have it.
No, and we didn't get it, we asked for it, but, yeah.
All right, well, I'll make sure it gets out
Can we,
this week.
Can we have that sent to us by email or something so that we
Right.
can at
We
least?
normally do, but
Yeah.
I don't think we got it this time.
No, I
Yeah.
didn't.
Yeah.
So, I mean, if we could get that
Yeah,
maybe,
I'll
Yeah.
get with Teresa after the meeting and make sure
that'd be
that
great. Thank you.
those get sent. And then also talk about the minutes. Okay, let's try item 4. This year's budget up through, I know we had through November.
This
and-
one says December.
Yeah,
December,
and
yeah.
now you have through December.
Right.
Okay, now, I don't expect you to be able to digest Decemers, but at least if you have Novembers and any comments, then we can look at that and say if we have any concerns about it.
I do, actually, not a concern, but a question. On page 5, under the police department, modular building lease, the modular buildings are now gone.
Yep.
Is there a continued financial commitment?
They had to spend a lot of money to have them removed.
Okay,
Yeah, because there was a cost to remove
Move
them.
them.
right,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah,
So would that be going under building lease then?
I would assume so,
Okay.
yeah. Yes, they're
So that's
gone.
probably why the furniture is $16,550. They spent most of their money for the whole year. And
So if they're gone, what are they doing for space for the company?
They're all cramped in the little police station right now.
Broken ground,
Wow.
They broke ground 2 weeks ago, I believe.
Right.
just before the cold hit.
Right.
Yeah.
Wow.
They've also doing things like if you need a burning permit now, you either do it online or go to the fire station because the police station can't.
I did it
Yeah.
online today.
Yeah,
Pretty easy.
yeah.
Click right through it.
Yeah.
So is it right next to the other, where's the building, right over there in the same location?
Well, the building's gonna attach to the
Right.
existing building.
But the existing building will be demolished, right?
No,
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 Oh, it's not.
Police is gonna stay.
yeah, they're just going to put an addition
Addition
onto
to
that
it.
building.
Right.
And the fire
And then
department is a
fire-
separate
separate
I
building.
thought when they
building.
showed the plans, it looked totally different. I didn't realize they were gonna keep the existing building.
Yes.
Okay.
which
yeah,
is-
the inside
Makes
will
sense.
change.
Yeah, they'll
it'll be all-
redesign it,
It'll be all different.
integrated, yeah.
Okay, well, why don't we just kind of go through
I just,
page by page, sure?
on page one, though, I don't know, I mean, I know it's an accounting thing, but it seems weird how you have all these no charges being as of, 6 months, and whether they're gonna just, charge like the collective bargaining and all that at the end of the year or something, is that how they?
The
That's how they do that?
Collective bargaining thing is an, article,
Okay,
so it stays there until it's needed.
so they might not need it, then it'll just,
Well, I
Then it would
think-
have to
It
be
will just-
reappropriated.
It would have to be reappropriated
They haven't
at town
settled
meeting.
yet, have they?
I don't believe they have
Yeah,
yet.
so once they
Right.
settle, that's probably retroactive pay,
Yes,
and
that's what that
so you're
is.
gonna get a lump sum. A lot of
Mhm.
it'll go away in one shot.
okay.
Okay, anything else on page one? Page two?
Finance committee spent a lot of money. $200.
Okay, nothing really has changed there from November to December, like the Board of Assessors, professional services is still at balance of 2365. Okay, page three.
What's MIS, GIS?
Management Information Services, and I forget what GIS is, but it's basically information technology or computer-related
Okay.
items. And the only, excuse me, question that I have there is that on the second item, the 01-155-5420,
Expenses.
it's now, the balance is 17,003, and last year it was also, it was underspent by 25%. So I think that's something that, I'm not gonna say we need to question, but I don't know if they're waiting for updates to the systems or what type of a thing. Well, if it's anything like by computer, you get whacked at horrendous figure for the privilege of using a program. Okay, any other comments on page three? Page four. I think everything there is
Pretty close to 50%.
Yeah, the Conservation Commission was a little bit over back in November, but now it's in line for December, so that's,
It also depends on how many weeks there are in a month.
yes.
3 weeks, I should say.
Anything else? Page five?
Expenses for police, it's quite a bit there. Is there anything unusual that to spend that much money so early in the season.
But it's only at 38%, so it's not at
Well,
half.
it's supposed to be 51, so,
Huh?
so it's less than,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
so we probably should,
that
maybe
might-
during budget season, see where that's going.
But that may be the fact that they're not gonna be putting fuel and lights into that huge area and stuff.
Well, I don't know what that
Well, that's
entails,
wages and
you know.
salaries.
What's that?
Are you talking about the wages and salaries
No,
number or the
expenses.
modular
No,
building?
expenses.
Expenses.
Oh,
Yeah, I would
okay.
think, you know, with the modular building gone and everything, I think expenses, you know, electricity, whatever else would probably go down.
Right.
I mean, just wonder why it's they spent so much, but maybe there might be
Well,
some
they
cities.
haven't spent that much because they're under 50%.
No, there's only 38% remaining. It should be
That's for
50
wages
It
and
should be around
salaries.
51%
Right.
remaining, but there's only 38.
Oh, I
So
thought
they
it meant
spent-
they'd only spent 38.
No, it's just
I'm
the other
still
way
leaving
around.
it off-
They've,
off
they've
of
spent 84,000 out of the 137, there's only 52,000 left.
Yeah, so that's what I'm
There's only
saying. is,
52,
You know, I don't know what, you know,
Ah.
maybe somebody can.
yeah, so there's
question
only,
My 38% is on the line above.
oh,
Uh-oh.
that. Mine's on expenses,
Mine's on expenses.
yeah.
Mine's on wages and
because if
salaries.
you look at wages, that's roughly 50% right there,
Mhm.
so
Right.
that looks pretty good. Modular building, we know what that is.
Yeah,
Okay, anything else? Page 6.
I just go into call firemen's wages, that's, I don't know, I don't have a calculator, I don't know, but it's 60, I would say about 66% of the money on that line hasn't been spent yet.
You know, depends on how many calls they have.
I know, but, so how does that, how did it look last year, but we don't know.
You don't know, you can't
Uh,
tell.
Well, that's why it would be nice to have.
I mean, it's
Um,
one of those things that you don't know how many fire calls you're gonna have and how many
Right.
people are gonna respond. No, Mark told me they were out all day today.
Mm.
There were a lot of calls.
Now, last year, they ended, at the end of June, they had $1,247 left over in the call firefighter wages.
And how much was budgeted last year?
94,362.
So almost like this year.
95,
They used a lot
67.
more, they used a lot more call services last year by this time?
Well, he's looking at the
No,
end of
no,
the
no,
year.
that was,
Oh, you look at the end of the year.
End of
Oh,
the
yeah,
year.
I thought you had
But
the,
it isn't something you
6
can,
months,
you
you
can
know.
predict.
Yeah, because you don't know how many fires. or
Yeah,
whatever.
I mean,
Right.
you just don't know.
no, I'm only concerned overall in the big picture if they maybe have a larger budget than they need, but I don't know.
I
you know,
doubt
from
that
now.
because they're getting more calls
You know,
than they have. And they also, you get new firefighters and they have to go to the fire academy. They get paid, we pay for them to go and then they get paid a wage while they're there.
okay.
So all those things can happen at different times of the year.
okay, page 7. One thing I'm gonna need to do is to straighten out with the town on the shellfish commissioners and the constable.
Not taking their salaries.
Right. And I think we need a way of reconciling that. I I don't want to not have a figure there, because if they decide to move on, then we don't have anything there. But if they don't want to take their salary, then maybe they can take it and donate it back to the town.
Small amounts of money,
or-
but
At the
I know,
moment, I
but-
don't think
nickel
they
a
have,
nickel,
I don't
right.
think, believe they have the number of commissioners that they need either. So
Right.
It would make a difference on how much money would come out.
I have a question on page 7 for the schools. They have, total is $1,025,000, and if they've already spent almost $600,000, leaving only about $433,000 remaining for the last 6 months, so that seems like it's way over 50%. Also, the other part of the question is, if there's no school in July and August, you don't have, most of the teachers are off for the summer, shouldn't the cost be lower?
No,
In the first
they
2
take their
months?
salary over a
Did
whole
they-
year.
they
Oh,
collect.
okay. When my wife was a teacher in Lynn, they only started in September.
Yeah,
So
no.
that's how they do it?
You can do either option.
Yeah,
And most of them
okay.
take it spread out
I
over
didn't
the
know they
whole
did
year.
it,
Yeah.
okay, all right. But anyway, this is a big, for 6 months in, there's only, there's much less than half remaining, 433,000. Or, I'm sorry, that's 4,339,000,
Right.
so that's a big difference.
Mil versus 10 million.
I read it as 1 million, yeah, it's 10,254,000, so half of that would be about 5,125,000 roughly. And there's a big discrepancy there, so,
Yeah, but you also have to realize that in the month of December, there were 3 pay periods, whereas most months, there are only 2.
but would that make it still, around 50% you figure you'd use up July through December, you still have 6 months.
Yeah, but I mean,
Till
again,
does
it's
it make
not
that much of a
it's
difference?
not necessarily a straight line.
I'm just asking, it just seemed
Yeah.
like there was a big, it's not close to 50-50.
Well, we can flag it and look at next month to see how it is.
Because you
but
get almost 6 million
Sue hasn't
used.
flagged it, so
Yeah.
they must be,
That was just a question.
uh,
But that's
It
the
must be
biggest part of
consistent
our
with
whole
what-
of our budget is the schools.
Snow and ice will go up a lot.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
I'll tell you, there's been a lot of nice praise on Facebook for the highway department. Don't know if any of you have seen the group called Rowley Talks.
I don't do Facebook, so.
Yeah, and, but it's nice, people have been saying how driving home from other towns and how well Raleigh's roads are and everything, so that's nice to hear people say, that is nice.
maybe they dump all the snow in Ipswich.
I think they do a good job on the Christmas lights here in the Common.
Yes,
Most
yes,
towns don't have,
That's the light department.
yeah, I know they do that.
yeah, it does look nice.
The gazebo, it looks very nice.
I don't know if you people know this, but many years ago, the town decided that they couldn't afford the $150 it costs to pay for the electricity for the lights on the common. The light department said that they would put them up, but the law states they can't pay, and it was $150 to light those lights at Christmas time. So a group of ladies associated with the fire department, and I was their leader, we put cans out around town and collected the $150, and we did it for 3 years, and the selectmen put it back in their budget.
Only $150 though?
Yeah,
for a
that's
whole-
what, because that was like 20 years ago maybe,
Uh-huh.
but it's probably 300 now or something, I don't know, but they put it back in.
That's
They discovered the town really wanted it, they were willing to nickels and dimes, and the little kids were putting their money in and everything to have it, so.
Okay, page 9. page 10. Leave everything there is kind of self-explanatory. You know, the
Yeah.
library expenses are set.
Recreation is mostly in the summer, spring, summer probably.
Right.
Not much going on now.
Okay, page 11. Not much we can do there. Principal and interest. Page 12. Nothing there. 13. Anything with the water department? Okay, 15 and 16, I think are all okay.
Water department's not even close to half, huh?
73.1% total on the bottom.
Yeah, this is almost three-quarters of the money left.
There goes the argument about how much they have in expenses too, between the money that they get in the rates and everything else, I think they have a good surplus.
Will
Yeah, well-
most of it be used in the spring when?
No.
when-
No,
No?
not some of it. Some of this, I mean, they still don't have employees in the department.
Right.
You know, you don't have a
Yeah,
superintendent.
superintendent.
So you're gonna
We
have a
also
lot
don't have-
of
that's
excess
right.
in the wages, so I think when they come in this year, we need to really look at, you know, wages, you know, if they're not gonna fill them, then,
Right.
you know,
Well, they
I-
have,
Have they been
I know they're gonna
given
advertise and-
something,
Yeah,
for a new
for the water
They've been
superintendent.
advertising?
advertising all
But
along.
But I wanna do that analysis again, you know, when they come in, to see how much money that they ended up with the end of the, last year.
Yeah,
I mean, I had some numbers, I thought it was pretty close to that.
yeah.
And, you know, it looks like they spent some money for their rate study, so that'd be interesting to see, you know, how that comes out, you know,
Yeah.
based on what they're gonna do.
They're
Are they
still,
gonna,
they're still
They-
working on it.
They did send revisions back to ask them to to do the rate study differently, because Tata and Howard had built some things in that were not what the water board wanted, so they're going to reduce their overall projection
Yep.
on the rate study, so that information was sent back. And I can tell you that Bernie Collin has been working very hard, looking at every single line going down, and has found some opportunities for reduction, just in the one section that he talked about. And their goal is to have the budget prepared, ready to go, and present to Selectmen and Finance Committee the third week in February. So
I would hope
they're-
that maybe that they could submit that at the same time, so that we could look at it and make recommendations maybe to the selectmen.
That's
on
not
it.
the way it works. The selectmen get them first,
I
then
know,
they
but-
come to us.
Well,
Right.
we could still get it first, and, you know, the selectmen can do what they, you know, I mean, they're the governing body, I understand that, but, you know, it's hard when they vote a budget, and then we come in, and then we have questions like we did last year, and then it goes back to the selectmen, whatever, so I mean, I think that's such a big budget, and it's in such change, that maybe we will work jointly together, so that we both understand, you know, all the parts of it. Again, I don't wanna run the water department, but,
Right,
you know, I really hope that, you know, that they can, look at the rates a little bit. I know that they have a plan for the future for water main replacement, and I hope they have a concrete plan on what they're gonna do and how they're gonna do it. And so we can allot some of the surplus that they have, or they can, you know, to make sure that that program starts forward. But also, I think that, you know, there's some room, in my opinion, that maybe there's some money that could be saved. For example, you know, with that dehumidification, it was 400,000. It looks like they're not gonna do that, so that's almost saying
Right.
$500,000 right there.
Right.
That maybe we could go back, to the ratepayers, you know, as opposed to just putting it in a pot for future development, but again, whatever they come up with, I would just hope that the
But
selectmen and the
that
finance
money
committee.
wasn't on the rates. That came out of the,
What do you mean it didn't come out of the rates? It was an article, right?
it was an article taking it out of the fund, the stabilization fund, so it didn't affect the rates. That was
I know,
money
but
that had been
what I'm
left
saying
over
is,
other years.
but what I'm saying is the stabilization fund is large. And that's what I'm hoping, that they have a number that is realistic, and even though it doesn't come out on the rates, that it does affect the taxpayers or the water rate users. So,
But if you
know,
take it out of the stabilization fund to reduce the rate, then you're not gonna have money for the big projects.
No, that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying, I don't know how much they have in the stabilization fund, but I think it's over $1 million. And all I'm saying is that might be enough money to do what they want to do with their water main improvements, and that the rest of the operating budget, if it gets reduced a little bit because of, savings that we can have there, then that would go on the rates, the water rates. So
And
I'm
that's
not
the
looking for
goal.
big savings, but,
Right,
you know.
and that is the goal, and actually I've been impressed listening to what Bernie has put together, and he's gone item by item, way drilling down, and he's been working with Rob to find where there's areas that are overinflated, as well as areas that need a little more attention. They,
I mean, because
They toss some
basically the
numbers
stabilization
out.
fund tells you how much money they've got in surplus. I mean, and
You know, they-
in the last few years, it's been extensive.
Yeah.
So, I'm saying, what are you gonna do with that money? Are you gonna continue to just hold it, or are you gonna start doing some water main replacements, which is fine and dandy, because I think that's where it should go. But I also think that, some of this budget can be reduced to some degree,
I
that might
think
affect the
that-
rates.
They're working on that.
Yep, so
I think
that's
we
good.
pay one of the highest rates around, so I think they should try to figure out something to give at least a little benefit of relief from, rates are not cheap.
But I wouldn't think it would be harmful to have the finance committee and the selectmen sort of work hand in hand. We're not gonna dictate to them. They're ultimately gonna, set the budget.
Right.
But I mean, they might get some input from us, based on the work that we do to look at the budget. I mean, we look at it, I think sometimes a little bit more intense than other people do. And so rather than, arbitrarily vote a budget that might be a little higher than what we might propose, it might be helpful just to kind of work together as a team, including the water department as well.
Is Bernie?
Commissioner Cullen, Bernie Cullen,
One of the three
one
commissioners.
of the commissioners.
Okay, next item is discuss possible concerns for the upcoming budget, one of which is the water department. Okay. And then, one thing I had from, months ago was the revolving accounts. That there was a concern about that, and as far as reviewing those. And so, wasn't able to get with Sue, but I think she has a listing of all the different revolving accounts and their status. And so I'll try to get that emailed to us before the next meeting, so that we at least know what they are and what the amounts are and things like that.
Yeah, that's important, because some of these are pretty extensive. I don't know if it's the cemetery department, whether they get like 25 grand, they haven't used it. So if we could get something maybe for the last 2 years, it might give us some kind of a benchmark to look at, so that, we can look at their budget and see, because this year, if they have to cut or whatever because of the Triton, we want to kind of be prepared, where can we help them, or where can they use a revolving account to maybe offset some other things, The other thing on the fiscal concerns, I think this year we need to look at the fire and police operating budget, because with the new station going on, there's gonna be some transition between now and in the future, so we probably should see how the chiefs are gonna propose you know, for next fiscal year. They might have to
Yeah, that's a
come
good
back a
point.
little bit because, until the building is built, but then we're gonna get a surge, probably once the building is built, because there's gonna be, you know, different electrical needs and heating and different.
And they're keeping the station downtown too.
Yeah, so, I mean, that's gonna be an
That's a good-
addition
that's a valid
to the
point,
budget,
yeah.
so we probably should just
That's a
have
good
some
point.
discussion so
Yeah.
that everybody knows what the next fiscal year might impact. You know, can we save this year to, you know, offset the next year? Because we might even add more people, I'm assuming, you know.
I personally would like to see more full-time firefighters. I know they had a call the other night for Ipswich, and they couldn't get a crew. So,
It's all gonna depend on Triton, as we know, so, I mean, that's gonna be a big, obstacle, not an obstacle, but a thing that we need to look at, and it's gonna impact, you know, us, because we're doing all our building, which we needed, and those haven't kicked in fully yet,
no.
so, you know,
Just
I mean,
beginning
I'm sure
to
the
start.
selectmen and Debbie are looking at all that stuff. And I'm hoping that maybe at some point shortly we'll have some kind of guidance as to what the departments are gonna be looking at. They're gonna be level funded, or they're gonna be looking at, two
Yeah.
budgets, maybe two budgets. What if this happens and best, I did that a couple times.
And we've done
Had
that.
like 3
Yeah.
budgets,
We've
and
done
depending on
A,
how,
B, and C, right?
yeah, which was kinda,
When is the building scheduled to be completed? Sometimes later this year or next year?
I would say probably next year.
Yeah,
They're
it's
trying to
gonna
fire
be-
police. The school's gonna be done in 2019.
Right,
Mm.
but I mean, it's
The
gonna
fire police,
take
I
them
would
more
think,
than
would
a
be-
year. If they broke ground, it's gonna
Yeah,
take them more
I'm
than
sure
a
it
year
would
to
only-
do it.
yeah.
Okay.
So next fiscal year will be a new year for operating costs.
Right. Yeah, but it'll probably come in then partially. Okay. So I'll try to get the revolving accounts for the last couple of years and get that email to us before the next meeting. Any other items we want to consider?
Set future date?
Oh, yeah, but want to skip over 5? No.
Let's go to 5.
No. I'd like to skip 5.
Yeah. I've been meeting with the Salisbury Board of Selectmen, or not meeting with them, attending their meetings, because I do have property up there. And they have not scheduled, Newbury and Salisbury have not scheduled any finance or warrant advisory committee meetings as of yesterday, when I checked their calendars. But I will be attending at least the Salisbury warrant advisory committee meetings, and might try to attend Newbury. My feeling is that they're not about to come to us for anything, that we kind of have to go to them and let them know what's going on. That's what I've been doing with Salisbury, is letting them know what the Raleigh selectmen are doing as far as the school issue is concerned, and take it from there. Any questions, comments? Okay, let's set a future meeting date. Gonna try for February 27th.
That late?
Well, I don't know of anything coming up.
I would assume some of the budgets will be in before then.
Yeah. Okay, so when would you want it? 13th?
Yeah, I mean, we could do the 13th, and it would be on the call of the chairman, if you feel that
Okay.
there's nothing to discuss.
Just
then
then we'll,
Yeah, we can.
we could
yeah,
go
we're
on, go to
flexible.
the
All
27th.
right.
Yeah,
So
you
we'll
know, set
set
for
it
the 13th, it's every
February
month.
13th,
yeah.
7:15.
7:15.
No, Valentine's is Wednesday. We already had that discussion at work, that my boss wanted to have a meeting, and he moved it from the 14th to the 21st
Because of Valentine's Day?
because of Valentine's Day.
Jeez.
Okay, have a motion to adjourn?
What's this forum thing, do we wanna, is that, something that we're gonna attend?
Well, we can attend that. It's just a regional school finance forum being held by the Triton.
State officials are gonna be there.
Right. They have their district communications committee meeting at 6 o'clock, and then at 6:30, the regional school of finance will be held in the auditorium. But certainly,
Do you think anything's gonna come about this, from this, or, I mean, that Bump, Susan Bump, she had that proposal, I guess, or of some changes that need to be
Right.
made, and does that look like it might have some support, or?
And they've invited Masco
Yeah, they have.
and
they have a-
Pentucket
right.
to come.
But they're in better shape than we are, as far as the formula, from what my understanding
No, all
was.
the regional schools.
Well, I
have
thought
formulas.
Pentucket had a much better formula, for their towns than we did. But,
I don't
I mean,
know.
I think we're the ones that get hurt the most, our towns. 'Cause the way
Well,
the farm is set
one
up.
thing would be to attend the meeting and to talk with these other schools, see what the other school committees are doing, and maybe they have some idea that we can modify our tri-town agreement or so.
Well, I don't think it's the agreement that needs to be modified, I think it's the formula that the state has, because they set the minimum rate that everybody has to pay by some state formula, and that's the issue. It's too high. It's not high enough to cover the difference that the towns have to make up in order to make the budget happen.
Well, I just,
That's the thing.
I
The
don't,
states are crying
Not the
poverty
agreement.
now, they don't even want, Charlie Baker doesn't even want to fund the mass health and things that is part of what's supposed to be, and so I can't imagine them changing things to, to
Well,
change the
political
formula
pressure
or
always
anything.
helps, you know what I mean?
Right,
So
of
all
course
you
it
can do
does.
is, I mean,
Yeah.
as a group,
Well, no, I know, I think the squeaky wheel, you have to, be, do a lot of squeaking.
Yeah, unfunded mandate, like it was in the paper today about what it costs every town to have early voting.
yeah, over $1 million.
Right, I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Okay, Dennis. Sharon. Tell you there's no discussion, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Okay, we are adjourned. Thank you very much.